Sports betting brother, and hey, bring it up, and thanks for stopping by. My name is Boyd, and I teach beginner and struggling sports bettors how to use data to find mathematically profitable bets. And today's video is just a basic, simple, how to understand and navigate the sports books. And we're going to go to DraftKings, and I'll show you point spreads, money lines, totals, things like that, just the basic fundamentals that you're going to need and use to navigate to identify the bets you want and also the expected payouts and how that can work for you to have a little bit less, I guess, intimidation of the sports book and the website, so you can learn to navigate it very quickly and be more profitable by being good at this. So let's take a look. Real quick reminder, I want to let you know you're obviously welcome to take the betting course, the data-driven betting course, where I talk about the market analysis and how to profit from that. We give you the tools, we give you the betting tools, all the resources to help you with that. And then also the education and the betting plan. We do an individual betting plan for each person that takes the course, because everyone's in a different state, has different sports books, has different opportunities. So we really want to help you get customized and hit the ground running to use this mathematically profitable strategy, because the markets are really where it's at. That's really where all the profits are. And if you understand that, you'll do very, very well. So happy to welcome you to that, and hit the links below to get started. Okay, here we go, guys. Now, this video I'm creating because good friend Lisa, who is a friend of mine, that she keeps asking me, she says, Boyd, what does the 2.5 mean? What does the 3.5 mean? And then what happens, when the score is of a certain point? I'm like, and I need to do a video on just really for the people, the basics, the fundamentals, and understanding what the sports books are showing you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend a little bit of time at DraftKings. We're probably one of the more well-known sports books. And the reason I chose DraftKings is because it's pretty easy to navigate. And I encourage you to get as many sports books as you can and navigate and tour them, almost like, if you check into a hotel, you kind of want to go see where the pool's at, where the bar's at, where the restaurant, just kind of get your bearings of where everything is. And that's what you want to do at each sports book. You want to kind of get your bearings here of where everything's at. So typically on the left-hand side, they're going to have all the sports that have different promos and player type, bet types and things at the top. But we're going to just jump into real quick. We're going to cover a quick NBA opportunity or offering, and we'll look in the MLB. And so I'm going to go through the basics, kind of fundamentals of that. So basically, when you come in here to the sports book, if you're looking for an NBA game, they're going to open it up here for you. We're in the NBA finals currently. So we're going into a game coming up on Friday, June 9th. And so that's kind of when I'm filming this here on Thursday, but this is what you're going to see. Okay. So what this means is, on the point spread, the -3.5 means that if you take the Nuggets and you hit this bet, you highlight it and you say, okay, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put in $50. Okay. And then you would place that bet, hit this button and place that bet. What this means is the Nuggets have to win by 4 points or more. You see that 3.5? That half is called the hook. And it's very important, because if the final score ends up 103-100, that means that Miami with +3.5 would have won by that half a point, or that hook. What it also means here is -105 is you have to risk $10.50 or $105 to win 100. Okay, so that's what the odds are here. The -105. That's what that means. So when I punch in $50, it's going to show here this 97.61. If you can see that right there, that's the total profit. So you get your $50 back plus the what would that be? 47.61. Okay, because it's -105. So that's the calculation of the return. Now, what if I took Miami? What if I took +3.5? Okay, and we cancel that Denver bet, and it's at -115. So the payout's going to be a little bit less. So if I put $50 on Miami, I get 3.5 points. So what that means is they either need to win the game outright or lose by 3 points or less. If they lose by 4, that means Denver would have covered the point spread. That would have beat the point spread by that 3.5. So a lot of times this extra half, this extra little hook, is very important. And if you can, it's ideal to at least have a solid number. So it gives yourself a tiny insurance policy that if you land on the number, it's at least a push. You get your money back. Where if it lands on this 3, that little hook sure makes a big difference to a lot of people. Okay, so you can kind of see where I'm going with that. So in this case, you can see it's 93.47 in return. Okay, so -115 means you get a little bit less profit. You'd have to bet $11.50. or $115 to win 100. So the calculations on $50 give you that profit. Again, you're $50 back plus the 43.47. So that's how you would calculate that. Now on the total, it's kind of interesting. The totals are out, typically you see them pretty even as far as minus 110, minus 110. But again, if you take the 210.5 on the over, this O stands for over, that means the final score, combined score with the Nuggets and the Heat, needs to be at 211 or more. Okay, so over 210.5. If it lands on 210, you would hit the under because this little half a point, this little that hook's going to get you. So know that if you think it's going to be a low scoring game and under 210 or under, you would take the under. If you think it's going to be a higher scoring game, above, say 211 and above combined total. So if you think it's going to be, Denver 212, Miami 208, that'd be a combined total of 220. It would be well over the 210. So you'd play it in that fashion. Okay. Let's say that you didn't really want to get into the point spread. You're like, you know what? I don't want to worry about Denver winning by a certain amount. I don't want to worry about Miami losing by a certain amount or having to win the game outright. I just want to pick a winner. And that's what Moneyline is. Moneyline simply means that you just pick the winner. So if Denver wins by 1, great. If they win by 2, great. If they win by 20, great. However, you can see the odds here at minus 155. So what that means is if I put in $50, I get $82.25 back. So I win $32.25 because that's the odds calculated at minus 155. Now, if I put in $155, I would win $100. So you can see the 255 is my 155 back and my $100 profit. Okay, that's how that would work. Now, let's say I took the underdog. Let's say I took Miami to win the game outright. Okay, so Miami has to win the game. If they lose the game by any number of points, I'm a loser. All right, so put in $100, and you can see here this plus 135. Well, now you get your $100 back plus 135 profit. That's the 235 they would return. But again, Miami has to win the game outright. Doesn't matter by how many points because it's not a point spread bet. It's just a money line. Money line means pick a winner, which is cool. But the downside of that is if you take the underdog, the good side of that is you get a higher, better odds. And then the negative of the money line is even if Denver wins by 10, you're kicking yourself thinking, well, I should have just bet the point spread. I got a better payout. So that's a quick little synopsis of an NBA game. Now I can tell you that alternative spreads, alternative totals are here, and it's sort of like the options in the stock market. Okay, you can sort of like take a numbers out. I think Miami plus 5 is a good bet. Based on the math or based on whatever you saw from some tools from Oddsjam. And let's say that, you wanted to take Miami plus 5, you can do that. So you don't have to take the 3.5 that it's offered, at minus 120 or the regular point spread. You can choose to set your own line. That's what alternative means. Alternative spreads, alternative totals. Now you're going to pay a price for that. You can see here minus 240. If you took Miami plus 7.5, they would say, fine, you can take Miami plus 7.5, but we're going to, it's going to be minus 240, which means you'd have to bet, $100 bet would only return $41.66. And you can play with the numbers here as far as, what you want to put in. If you want to put in $25, you'd win $10.41. You get your 25 back. There's the 10.41 profit. So that's how that works. That's basically in a nutshell the NBA. Now you can go into player props, and again, this is alternative totals, alternative spreads, different combination. You can bet on the quarters. You can bet on the first quarter bet. I actually put in a bet on the Nuggets first quarter to win the first quarter. You can bet first halves, and I suggest this because it's kind of fun. You don't have to wait around for 2 hours for the finality of the game to see if you won your bet or not. You can be proactive and jump in and bet on first quarter, first half totals, first half money lines, all the different markets that are available. And of course, you also have your player prop bets, meaning, if you think a particular player is going to have a certain amount of rebounds or a certain amount of assists, those are all up here. Okay. And let's just say that you wanted to play one of those. Again, you can look at the odds here, and they're saying, okay, Jamal Murray is going to have over 25.5 points at minus 125. Okay. So what that means again is if you think Jamal's going to have 26 points or more, you bet the over. and that payout is $12.50 or $125 to win 100. The math is accordingly. But if you think he's going to be a little bit lower scoring, you play the under. If you think he's going to have 25 points or less, you would take this. And now it's a little better payout, minus 105. But the inclination is he might score more than that. So these are all the things that you're going to discover that you'll find in the tools at Oddsjam, because that's what they do. They provide you the mathematical edges and say, okay, you would like to go take a look at Jimmy Butler over 26.5 because he's, the math shows that this is a good bet at this price. If this was over 26.5 minus 150, maybe not so much. So that's what Oddsjam does. It helps you identify the bet, helps you identify the sports book, and identify the price that has mathematical edges with what we deem as true north, being the market-making sports books like Pinnacle, BetOnline, things like that. So that's player props. I think what we're going to do is cut this video short and just do NBA, because actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the MLB real quick, just to give you a quick tour, but I'm going to probably do a separate video on MLB, but I do want to cover that as I promised I would. Okay, I'm going to jump over to MLB, and the reason it's all pretty relative. It's pretty much similar as far as run line is point spread. Just understand that run line and puck line in NHL and run line in MLB is sort of the point spread. So you saw earlier in NBA how it was the Nuggets minus 3.5. Well, this means that the Dodgers win by 2 runs or more. You take the run line at minus 140. Okay, that's the price, because the money line is at minus 225. So if you think, well, I think the Dodgers are going to win by 1 run, you would take the money line, but you're going to have to bet $22.50 to win $10. Okay, so if you wanted to take the Dodgers, you could bet $22.50, and you can see here the $32.50 is your $10 profit plus your $22.50 back. So not very good odds, And if you, typically, if you wanted to, you could do both. You could do a bet. I call it a minus 1 run line, where you could place one bet here, and whatever the $10 you'd win on this bet, go back over to place it on the money line at minus 140. And basically, if they win by 1 run, it'd be a push. So then you would bet $10 here, and you're creating a situation where if they win by two runs or more, you win both bets. If they win by 1 run, it's a push. If they don't win the game at all, you'd have lost your bet anyway. So there's different creative things you can do. You have more videos on that relative to structuring your bet. I think structuring your bet is very, very critical, because especially in baseball, where you have some different choices here based on the run line and the money line odds. But again, run line is point spread. Just to understand that, you can get into alternative markets with the run line. So if you think they're going to win by 3 runs or more, you can go in and take a look at, the Dodgers. Say if you think they're just going to kill them, by 5 runs or more, you get almost plus 200 here. So you can do alternative spreads or alternative run lines in MLB, and all those markets are down here. So that, again, take time to practice and navigate the site to find whatever bets you're looking for. But it's very important. Player props, same thing here. If you want to have a pitcher over or under a certain amount of strikeouts, there's your pitcher props. Your player props are up here. Your alternative markets down below. And then the mainline markets, again, are always just the big 3, the money line, the point spread or the run line, and then the total. So that's how that would work. Okay, again, just kind of the rundown here of the MLB slate of games for today. I recommend, again, just navigating, hanging out, spending some time at the website, spending some time just looking around to kind of get a feel, especially for different bet types you might explore. I mentioned the player prop bets are up here. Again, you can get into pitcher props, batter. What this means is, I want to show you this real quick too. Innings, very important to understand. In baseball, you can play first 5 innings, which means it's the first half of the game. Okay, so the first 5 means after the first 5 innings, after the home team is finished batting, they have opportunities to wager. And the first 3 innings, the first 5 innings, those are good opportunities to take advantage of when you have your starting pitcher in there. A lot of times, starting pitcher is going to go 5-6 innings, hand it off to the bullpen, and then who knows what's going to happen. So the full game, things can change dramatically after the 5th inning because of the bullpens. And so if you have a very strong bullpen, you feel good about the team and the game completing accordingly. But you hate to be on the side of the game all the first 5 innings, and then the bullpen comes in and screws everything up for you relative to your total, or relative to your money line, or relative to the run line. So you might want to consider playing first 5 innings, first 3 innings. You get different odds, different payouts in those. So all these markets are here. So again, if you think in this particular case, the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks are going to come out guns a-blazing and doing really well in the first 3 innings, you can play that market. If you want to go the full game for different reasons, then you can too. But these alternative markets are actually some great opportunities to find some great value and to really compartmentalize the game so that you have less exposure to things getting screwed up potentially. So that's something to think about. Again, Oddsjam provides all those markets, all those details, and has these available. So hopefully this has been helpful to kind of cover the MLB real quick. But that's DraftKings. And again, there's a lot here. There's all these different sports, all these different markets, and all the things across the top. But that's sort of an understanding, hopefully, of the breakdown of how you make money based on what your offerings are and based on how the math works with your payouts. So again, odds and probability and payouts are all sort of in one big family. But if you feel like your probability is a lot higher than the odds, then that's a good opportunity and a good profitable situation.